Y'all ready for?
We're gonna get through it.
What is it?
Question of the week.
Right,
yes.
of the week.
If you all want to submit your question, please send an email to info@spotlightoverthecity.com. Again, that email address is info@spotlightoverthecity.com. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dear Stan and T-Bomb, at 50 years old, I don't have time for secrecy or silly stuff. During marriage counseling, my wife agreed that we would both share our locations on our phone for emergency purposes, and simply because as a husband or as a wife, we absolutely should know where our other half is. Now that we are actually married, my wife refuses to share her location on her phone with me, although I have shared mine with her. I realize that these are new problems created by technology, but honestly, I'm happy that we have the ability to see locations of our loved ones. If my father had not had his location turned on, something really bad could have happened, and probably would have happened to him, because some criminals had tied my dad up, took his phone. Because we all had his location on our phones, we knew how to get to him quickly. Same thing with our kids in college. We don't look at their locations to snoop, but if there's a reason for concern, then we take comfort knowing that we can see their last known location on our phones. I feel like my wife is being sneaky because she never has a reason other than, I don't need you tracking me because I'm a grown-up. For not sharing, that's the only reason she gives me for not sharing her location. I have no desire to stalk her, but her unwillingness to do it makes me look at her funny. I'm going to leave it alone for now, but I do want to hear from both of you and what you think about this. To me, anyone who has something to hide they will fear sharing their location and passwords, because if you are where you say you are, then what is the big deal?
How old is this lady again?
This is a man writing. He's 50.
How old is this man?
50. At 50 years old, he doesn't have time for secrecy or silly stuff.
He got time to be nosy as hell and insecure. And
Well,
so let me help you, older guy. So you're 50 plus years old, right?
And they agreed during counseling to share the locations on their phones.
This to me is one of the worst. I could see if you was 25 years old or something and y'all was having this dilemma. At 50, you damn near granddaddy age, right? So you should have enough sense to know that if you insecure or feel a way about your mate, don't even marry him. Don't be with him. If you feel you have to share a location, that's prison to me, right? I think that a person should be able to still be an individual and be married. I think a person should be able to be trusted and be married. I don't think that shows a level of trust. I think that it puts you in a situation where you feel like you're in prison. That's why a lot of people won't be married, because that is going towards the imprisonment of marriage. You're supposed to still have your individuality. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think that if you're comfortable with who you are and you're secure, then you wouldn't marry someone that you have to babysit, so to speak, and be all in there, DM, or whatever the hell you're doing. I think that that's just showing a sign of insecurity, and only the person who makes you insecure can fix your insecurities.
Well, I have a totally different perspective on this, and I respect what you just said. If I don't read something like this and say he's insecure. I read something like this and say, hey, I get it. I'm honestly at this point in my life, I like it for safety measures. Like my kids share their location. I wish my dad would share his, but he won't. My mom shares hers. Me and my sister share locations with each other. We don't have passwords to each other's phones, so I can't get in their phones. But in the event that, I don't know where someone is and I get concerned, I can look and be like, oh, okay, he's safe. He's at school.
How you know he's safe?
Because I'm looking at the location on my phone and it says he's at Bowie High School or whatever. So my perspective on this for this husband is, if they agreed to it during marriage counseling and your wife has doubled back and now not agreeing, I think he should look at her kind of shady, because why agree that you're going to share your location with your spouse, and then now that you're married, you're like, nah, I don't want to share you. I don't want you tracking me. I don't want you. I'm a grown up. It's not about grown up at this point. To me, it is about like, if I haven't seen somebody for 24 hours, where's the last time? They're going to ask me. I'm like, let me look on my phone. I'll be able to see. I don't have a problem with that anymore at this point in my life, and I don't take it as him being insecure. Does anybody else?
So I guess, let me finish. Because see, I hear you, and I see what you're saying. Most women won't find it a problem. That's just what it is. Because I think that women feel secure being able to secure that situation. Like, okay, I know where he is. Let me just show you why I think it's nonsense. If you're looking for me and I'm somewhere tied up and you know where I'm located, I'm still tied up, right? So by the time you figure out that I can't call you back and answer the phone and all this, I'm probably not alive. They unalived me. And so now, what the hell are you going to do besides come find me unalive? What are you going to do? So you going to know where the body is? You can't stop it, right? And so you can't prevent things from happening just because you know where they're located, right? Because they didn't call you and say, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And if they did that, they didn't need you to be located. They called you and said, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And so I think it's an insecurity. We never used to have these things where you were even able to do this back in the day.
Right, he
You
said
could
it's a
track
new
and
problem
trace.
with
So now
tech.
you feel like Dr. Fauci or some damn body where you tracking and tracing and carrying on. And I think that that's an insecurity. I don't want to be tracked or traced or none of that. And I feel like that makes a person insecure when they feel they have to know where you're located as a grown 50-plus-year-old grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And so, and she's
Well,
a
this
grown woman. I'm assuming she's
She
a grown
said,
woman.
well, that's what she told him.
And so, but she agreed and did not. So that's where she wavered. See, you shouldn't have went to counseling and said, yeah, I'm going to do it.
And then
that was a
wavered.
precursor to marriage. And now all of a sudden you're married. No, I'm not going to do it. And
Right.
so it means, it shows that you were kind of not being sincere about what you were even intending to do. So you should have stood on it when you didn't want to, because you didn't. But you wanted to make him happy and be married.
Right.
So you said, okay. And so then you said, well, nah, Negro, don't follow me and track and trace me, Fauci. But now you should have said that in the counseling. Said, nah, I don't feel like you should want to do that because I don't feel the need to do it to you. And so then they could have worked that out in counseling. But
Right.
you agreed. And so now
She
you have
agreed.
reneged.
And
on
so,
your-
like I said, if I
on
were the
your deal.
husband, I guess I would ask her, like, what is your fundamental reason, wife, for going back on it? Like, why wouldn't you want your husband to know your location? Like, why?
Because he's not he's not in jail. He's a free man. And so he can tell you where he wants you to know where he's located. He's a grown up.
That's true.
And so don't make him a child at 50+ years old. And I think that that's the problem with society. They go into these situations motive driven, and then they have these insecurities. But they can't fix it by just checking locations.
Kalia said, she said, I actually agree with both of you all. Does anybody else have a
Yeah,
comment?
what y'all think? I think that going in phones and all that kind of stuff makes you immature. Why do you want to go in someone's phone? I never checked the phone. I'm 57. I never checked the phone in my whole entire lifetime. I never tracked or traced or wanted to give a damn about tracking or tracing someone. Every individual is going to do what they're going to do. So you can track that ass, trace that ass, whatever kind of tracking, tracing shit. It don't make a difference.
That's true.
You an idiot for that. Let me tell you
That's
something.
true.
A person who's scheming and scamming and trying to get some sidebar play, they got 4 phones and all that shit. You don't even know about the other phones and all that. They ain't even care about that shit. You look at it. They got 2 more. You don't know about the phones. They're going to go to the extreme is what I'm saying to make that work.
People going to do what
They're
they
going
wanna
to
do.
make it work until they can't.
Right.
And so if that's the
So
case,
whether you're sharing
be
again, though,
secure with
but
yourself.
But
Be
if,
okay.
But if what he's saying is true, and he's saying that sharing the location has nothing to do with any of that, and it has something to do with safety, then he's not even ever looking at it for any reason until there's a reason to look at it. You know what I mean?
You believe that? Just
I
like the
do.
government not gonna really look at us. They're not gonna be looking, y'all. They just got the damn cameras on every corner.
I do
But they ain't
believe
gonna
that.
really be looking
I
at
do.
us until they say they could be looking.
I do. Like I honestly, I don't look at their location until I need to.
You're not married to them. So it's different when you have a different relationship. Relationships warrant different motive, right? So when you're not married to someone, you have a different motive than when it's your sister or your cousin. You don't feel the need to track or trace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's different when you're in a relationship.
Well,
just think
sir-
that get out of a relationship if you feel you have to be tracked or traced, or you need to track or trace them. Work on your securities first, because once you get that together, know you whole, then you won't feel the need to do that, because they're going to do what they want to do. They really going to do what they want to do. So you tracking and tracing, you're not going to stop them. You're going to make them be a little slicker. That's it. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what's going to happen. So just guess what you should do. Work on you. Build yourself up. Get your damn whack-ass self-esteem together. Figure out what you need to be doing in life.
I don't feel that way about you, sir. I don't think you have low.
Focus on your goals and all that. You won't even know what she was talking about. You was gone. I didn't even know you left. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Sir, I don't feel you have low self-esteem, sir. So that's staying. I do feel.
low.
I understand where you're coming from, and you know, I guess again, you got to go with one or the other because we don't agree.
When I first met you, what did I say? I don't want you to stop hanging out with your friends. I think you should have a quality of life. Don't add the man to it. The man should be the dessert to it. He should be your whole situation. Because if you make him your whole situation, you're going to abandon some real good friends. You're going to lose out on some good times. Just act accordingly. Act like you got sense when you go. But go. Don't stay in the house and God, I'm going to be right here. Because that means you want me to be right here. That's all.
Well, no, you're right.
I'm a therapist. Let's go.
Listen, if you want us to try to help you, I don't know if we helped you, sir, because again, sometimes we go, he's over here and I'm over here.
Be secure. You can't stop her from doing what she wants to do. Yes, she changed her mind and she pivoted on you. Make the decision based on the pivot. Why did she pivot? Talk about it.
Because she don't want you to see her location,
well, that's
period.
what communication is for. Go to her and say, I feel a little way about you doing that. You reneged. You said yes with the counselor, then you said no with me. Which one is yes or no? What we doing? And so I feel that strongly though about you.
I will say
that's a lot.
That full transparency, because I'm different now. I'm way of a grown woman, different woman, and I think differently now. But there was a time in my life where I would not have been okay with sharing my location under any circumstances. No, you're not getting my location. No. But like now, at this point in my life, I could care less.
So do you think it was because you was on her hooker status? Like you was tripping? Like, cause sometimes women, just like men, be sidebarring, run, of course you can't share your location if you're tricking.
I said there was a time in my life where that would have been an issue for me. I'm not sharing my damn location. And I ain't asking for yours.
For a friend. So was you being a little loose back then? You can tell me.
I was being a grown ass woman, a single person. I was being her. And I wasn't sharing my location. I would have never agreed to such thing back then. But now I could care less.
But I believe you had the right to have that feeling. I believe you had the right to say, nah, I'm not doing that, because guess who? That's your phone bill, your people. I always tell somebody, who calling you over here? Like somebody calling you over here? Nobody calling. I'm not gonna call you. They'll call your phone, right?
Mm-hmm. If they looking for they call my phone looking for you. They do. They call me looking for I'm like, why are they calling me? They must have tried to call you first. So when you married, it's different.
Yeah, it is. But be secure, you. In any situation, in all honesty, just really be secure. And we're gonna wrap it on that note.
We can wrap it on that note.
You have to be secure with yourself. You can't secure another person.
Chastity, would you share your location with your significant other, your husband?
Would it be a requirement, is the question. Would you require it?
Is this recorded right now?
No. Nobody listening but us.
Huh?
I'm like, yes.
You would?
Recorded.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think as an adult, you got to stand on your actions, right? So, you're not out here trying to trick nobody. You're not out here trying to be a person that you're not. So, it's that conversation I like to do. It's not the behavior that he has an issue with. It's the intent behind it. So,
the intent.
Yeah.
Just have the conversation. Be honest about what you're comfortable with before you lock into a situation.
Malcolm, you married. You share your location?
I do not.
Okay. Would you like to